Gregory Stafford.
Under your chairmanship, and apologies that due to business in the main chamber I may not be here for the wind-ups. Let me begin by restating my firm opposition to the introduction of mandatory digital ID. I opposed it in this chamber only a month ago, and the public response has been remarkable. The clip of my speech on social media has now been viewed over 2.5 million times, not because of any great oratory on my part, but because people across the country are deeply worried about the direction the government is taking. Worried about privacy, about freedom, and about the steady expansion of state power without consent.
Will he give way?
I'm afraid I won't, sorry. Today I want to raise a specific issue that was touched on by my honourable friend, the member for Ilkley and Keighley, but is often missed in this debate, namely the provisions in the Children's Wellbeing and Schools Bill, which would mandate the NHS number as a single unique identifier for every child in England, namely ID cards, but on the sly. Ministers have confirmed in the House that this identifier will become mandatory. Wigan is already piloting multi-agency data sharing using it. Yet members of this elected chamber have not been given the evidence, the governance framework or the risk assessments that would justify such a change. The government has produced no credible reassurance that the NHS number will not become a gateway to expanded data sets or new intrusive linkages. No clear plan to prevent accidental disclosures that could put vulnerable children at risk, from revealing the address of a family fleeing domestic abuse, for example, or to exposing confidential adoption records. These are not theoretical concerns, they have occurred in practice. We have seen the warnings from Wales. Their NHS numbers were extracted centrally and sent to local authorities with no direct care relationship to the children concerned. The 2024 consultation was highly critical. The BMA, the Royal College of GPs and children's organisations all warned that such policies risk pushing marginalised families away from healthcare entirely. Wales's own Child Rights Impact Assessment warned of possible breaches of Articles 12 and 16 of the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child, and even warned that children could lose their Article 24 right to health if families disengage from the GP registration. Yet ministers insist that the NHS number is not sensitive data. The General Medical Council has already rejected that argument. All patient information attracts the common law duty of confidentiality. There is no such thing as a harmless identifier. Even practically, the Department for Education's own research warned that mandating NHS numbers will require significant investment, long-term planning and phased rollout. None of that groundwork has happened. Pilots are underway before Parliament has approved the principle. When trust in government is already scraping the floor, Sir Edward, the worst thing ministers could do is force through more mandatory digital ID for adults or for children, something the public neither asked for nor consented to. Nearly 3 million people have signed the petition. Over two-thirds of my constituents oppose it. Digital ID won't fix illegal migration, but it will supercharge state intrusion. The public deserve clarity, honesty and, above all, consent.
Brian Leishman, then